Welcome to Barenaked Music. I am, as always, your host, Barenaked Lewis, and today we are continuing our weeks-long love affair with Barenaked Ladies. A couple of weeks ago, I did my review of In Flight. Last week, I gave you my 10 favorite top 40 charting singles. This week, I'm giving you my 10 favorite album tracks. Why do I like Barenaked Ladies? As I have said 3 times now. Catchy tunes, witty lyrics, solid musicianship. They're not flashy musicians, but they are solid. And I think Jim Cregan is flashy good. But, so I'm a big fan of Barenaked Ladies, which means I really like a lot of their music, which means that generating this list for this week's video was really hard to do. I had just a bitch of a time getting it down to 10. And as it is, I'm cheating on one of them because I'm giving myself an honorable mention here for reasons we'll get into here in a second. This was among the harder things that I've done. Usually when I'm doing a ranking or a top 10 or whatever, the basic structure of the thing is not hard to deal with. I know I like this album better than that album, right? It is not difficult for me to commit to relative quality. It's not difficult for me to explain relative quality. Well, I don't feel uncomfortable doing it. The actual explanation, whether it's clear or not, that's another matter entirely. But this was hard. It was hard for me to get down to 10 songs here. Pretty easy for me to get down to 37. But when I hit that top 37, that's when it became like I was, sacrificing people on the Titanic, right? I mean, Jesus. It was hard. It was hard getting down to this top 10. So, but I did it. And I'm going to inflict it on you now. Before we get into the top 10, a couple of administrative notes. I have a Spotify playlist down below with all of these songs in it. If you want to get a sense of what they're like, you can go down there. That way you don't have to, search for individual songs. You don't have to remember the names of them or anything like that. I didn't do that last week because last week was, top 40 charting singles. They're fairly easy to find. But this week, I've got a playlist down there for you. Also, since we're talking about Barenaked Ladies and we do love our Canadian music, our unofficial sponsor today is Canada Dry Zero Sugar Ginger Ale. That's good ginger ale. And finally, since this is a top 10, we have to do... My fingers were pointing in different directions, but I don't care. We have to do the subjectivity notice. Artistic appreciation is, by nature, by definition, an inherently subjective thing. There's no such thing as objectively good or objectively bad art. There is only art that you like and art that you do not like. And as long as we keep that in mind, this is a wonderful conversation. It's fun, it's informative, it's everything happy and rosy. It only goes off the rails when one or the other of us starts thinking in terms of being right or wrong. So let's not do that. Yes, there are objective elements to music. Yes, you can make an argument that musician A is technically more proficient. You may not be able to say it, but you can make the argument that musician A is technically more proficient than musician B, that the subject matter of song A is more philosophically challenging than the subject matter of song B. Yes, you can make these distinctions, but that doesn't mean that song A is therefore better than song B or that artist A is therefore better than artist B. That just means that you've noticed a difference. Big whoop. When we're talking about relative quality, that is always subjective. So I'm not telling you that these are categorically, objectively, scientifically proven to be the 10 best album tracks. No, they're my 10 favorite. Okay? Okay. Now, I'm giving myself a little bit of cheating room here. I've given myself one honorable mention. And I've given myself an honorable mention because there's a song that is very important to me, but that I don't think is like a top 10 song. As much shit as I heaped on Kevin as I was talking about In Flight, and Kevin, if you're watching these videos, I apologize for the shit heaping. I don't intend for it to come across as shit heaping. I like Kevin Hearn. I think he's a fantastic musician. I think he's an excellent performer. I enjoy watching and listening to him play. I just don't think his songwriting is as strong as everybody else in the band. That's all. It's a taste thing, right? And so you would be surprised to find out that I've got a Kevin Hearn song on my list, but I have, as my honorable mention from the album Silverball in 2015, is the song Passcode. I really like Passcode. It's a nice, it's just a happy, bright love song. But mostly I like it because Silverball came out at the time that I was starting my relationship with the woman who is now my wife, and we bonded over several things that we both liked. And I was playing her a lot of music as we were getting to know one another to get a sense of who I was as a person. And I played Silverball for her many times because it was the new album by this band that I really liked. And when we both heard Passcode, we connected. You know, the conceit of the song is, you know the passcode to my heart. You know the secret. You've got the key that unlocks everything. And that's why I love the song. It's because she and I loved the song. It's not because the song itself, right? But that's good reason for putting it in my top 10 here, right? It's just there are other songs. I had to give myself, I couldn't not talk about Passcode, but I wanted to give myself room to talk about a 10th song, right? So, honorable mention to the rescue. Honorable mention, Passcode from Silverball. You done good, Kevin. Okay, now the top 10 proper. My number 10 song, one of 3 songs off of Maybe You Should Drive. And how many of those singles last week I mentioned were from Maybe You Should Drive? Spoiler alert. I must really like Maybe You Should Drive. Coming in at number 10 from Maybe You Should Drive, written by Stephen Page, it is Intermittently. I love this song. It's got a nice power pop kind of power pop with orchestration, right? I mean, I like this song. It's got a nice riff to it. The lyrics are all of those, yeah, catchy tune, witty lyrics, blah blah blah. The background vocals that come in the final chorus just push it right over the top. I love Intermittently. Good solid number 10. Number 9. As much as I talked about how much I like Jim Cregan as a songwriter when I was talking about this album, you would think that there would be plenty of Jim Cregan songs on this list, and I've only got one. That's not because I was lying when I was talking about how much I like Jim Cregan. It's because Jim Cregan writes so few songs. Ed and Stephen write the lion's share of the songs for this group. Since Stephen left the group, Ed is still writing the lion's share of the songs. And it's a numbers game. If I had a top 20 here, then there would probably be another 4 or 5 Jim songs. I mean, they're all just scratching there at number 11, trying to get in here to the top 10. But I do have one in my top 10, and that is from All in Good Time, released in 2010, I Saw It, which is a very poignant, eloquent song about the personal responsibility we feel when we witness bullying. Very good song. It's touching, and it's a really beautiful song as well. I've got to say, it's my favorite Jim Cregan song since it's the one that made my top 10. Rock solid. Give a quick shout out to Peterborough and the Kawarthas, On the Lookout, In the Drink, as being songs that are in a 3-way tie at number 11. Coming in at number 8, a song, the second of my 3 songs from Maybe You Should Drive. The song that it's on a short list of songs that I really wanted to see them do live, and then I finally did. They were playing in Austin. This was 2008, 2007, 2008, 2007, in there somewhere. And it was in November, and it was oh my God, cold. Un, well past unseasonably cold. I mean, it was frigid. But they were playing, and they were putting on a good show. And they played this song, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm done. They're that's one more checked off the list that I've actually heard them play live. And it was so cold that Ed's guitar strings broke halfway through. It's like, shit. But still, I did get to hear them perform from Maybe You Should Drive, a song written by Stephen Page called A. I love A. It's a great song. Number 8. Number 7. I mentioned last week as I was going through the top 10 that there are several Barenaked Ladies songs that I like to perform when if I'm doing a show somewhere, if I'm playing in the background while you're eating your enchilada plate. And number 7 is one of those songs from Grinning Streak of 2013, written by Ed Robertson. It is a song called Crawl. I love this song. The only problem I have with it, the only knock I have against the song is it doesn't have anything to do with the song. It has to do with the production of the song. When you go down to the playlist, if you're going down to the playlist, you're going to get toward the end of it. You're going to see the runtime of it, and you're going to think, Jesus, that's a long song. But no, we've got a good solid at least a minute, if not a minute and a half at the end that is just sound effects fading in and out, and we could trim all of that shit off. We have a nice but anyway, the song itself is fantastic. I love Crawl from Grinning Streak. Number 6, off of their Maroon album from 2000. This was the first time I saw them in concert, was when they were on the Maroon tour. I was living in the Houston area at the time. They came to the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion, which is my favorite Houston area music venue. And they did, probably 8 songs off of Maroon over the course of the evening. If you were checking them off on the playlist, they didn't do them in the order that they occur on the album. But if you're checking off as you go, it's the first 8 or so songs as the number that they did. The next available song that they didn't do, the first song off Maroon that they did not perform, is one of my favorite songs on the album, and I was a little bit miffed because there are a couple that were up above that they did do that I think are noticeably weaker song. They did Baby Seat, for example, which I think is that's not that great of a song. But Off the Hook is fantastic. I love that song. It's one of the best songs on the album. Written by Stephen Page and Ed Robertson from Maroon. Off the Hook is number 6. Number 5, this is from Barenaked Ladies Are Men from 2007, is Half a Heart, written by Stephen Page and Ed Robertson. Also a song that I like to perform. I'm a big fan of Half a Heart. Number 4, we go back to the 1996 Born on a Pirate Ship album for number 4, also written by Steve Page and Ed Robertson. It is Just a Toy. I really like Just a Toy. If you're not dyed-in-the-wool Barenaked Ladies fan, you don't know anything about the band. Just a Toy is a song from the perspective of the puppet that Geppetto made before he made Pinocchio. The puppet that also, just like Pinocchio, he wants to be a real boy as well. Unlike Pinocchio, he actually has a conscience and a sense of right and wrong. And he sees how unfair it is that Pinocchio gets to be a real live wooden boy, even though he's a lying sack of shit, while I am just a toy. Oh, it's a brilliant song. Brilliant song. I love Just a Toy from Born on a Pirate Ship. Okay, number 3. In 1998, Barenaked Ladies finally cracked into the American marketplace with gusto with their album Stunt, with their mega big super million bazillion, titanium selling 1 week. All you have to do when you get on an elevator is go, "It's been," and you've ruined everybody's day. But for my money, the best song on that album is the song written by Ed and Steven, called Some Fantastic. I love Some Fantastic. It's everything I love about Barenaked Ladies. Catchy tune, witty lyrics, solid musicianship. It's a bouncy, literally a bouncy song. Boinky, 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 boinky. It's got that kind of rhythm and percussiveness to it. Some Fantastic. I love Some Fantastic. Okay. Number 2. This came from the Barenaked Ladies Are Me album from 2006. There are 2 versions of it that are readily available, because when Barenaked Ladies released Barenaked Ladies Are Me, they also released a live version of the album. Live at the Glenn Gould Theater or something like that. And so you can get, it's the same list of songs, it's just you've got the studio version and then you've got the live version. So you can listen to either one. I recommend either one. The live versions of the songs in some cases are better. In some cases, the studio version is better. This was an unusual situation because I was listening to them both literally at the same time, but I received both of these in the same mail delivery. And so it wasn't a case where I had heard one album and it had had a chance to imprint and then I heard the other one, right? So it's a true, I've got 2 different versions of this to choose from. And as far as this song goes, I give a slight edge to the live Glenn Gould version, but they're both wonderful. And that is the song that kicks off the album, written by Stephen Page, Ed Robertson, and surprisingly Kevin Hearn. The song is called Adrift, and I love this song. The wordplay is fantastic. The song itself is melancholic, but the wordplay is wonderful. Ever since we said our goodbyes, the onion rings, the phone makes me cry. I mean, it's that kind of, I'm adrift without a snowflake. I love this song. Adrift from Barenaked Ladies Are Me. My number 1 song. Drum roll, please. Thanks. My number 1 song is the final song from Maybe You Should Drive. It's, when all is said and done, it's my favorite Barenaked Ladies song. It is a song that I will occasionally do if I'm performing. I don't do it often because I don't want to screw it up by doing my shit version of what I think is just a stellar song. Written by Ed Robertson, it is These Apples. My friend bought me flowers. She said they were lilacs, but I've never been good with plants. Her next demonstration, a new dictionary. She circled the word romance. So enthusiastic, a little bit drastic, I shaved her name on my head. As she beheld it, she said I misspelled it. Need more be said. This is just a wonderful song. It's the clash of 2 people who just aren't communicating. These apples are delicious. As a matter of fact, they are, she said. Right? I'm saying these apples taste great, and she's saying, yeah, they are delicious. They're like golden delicious or red delicious. Or they're, I'm talking about the flavor. She's talking about the variety. We're talking completely different things. I'm not trying to sing a love song, one line goes. I'm trying to sing in tune. And I think that's just fantastic. This song is one of the best written songs, one of the most tightly structured songs, one of the cleverest songs I have ever heard. I really, really like These Apples. If you only listen to one song on this Spotify playlist that I've got below, skip to the end and listen to These Apples. If you're not familiar with that song, you need to be. Written by Ed Robertson and my favorite Barenaked Ladies song. So, those are my 10 favorite album tracks from the Barenaked Ladies. What do you think? Are there songs that should I have put on the lookout in here instead of I Saw It? Should I have put I Live With It Every Day on the list? Oh, that's a wonderful song. Right? There's a bunch of songs that were trying to get on to this list that couldn't. Which ones do you think should have been down here? leave the note below. Let me know about it. I always love hearing from you. I always enjoy that conversation. Thank you very much for sticking it out this long. If you did stick it out this long, I'm assuming that means that you liked the video, so I would appreciate it if you'd click that like button. And while you're down there, go ahead and click the subscribe button as well, and the little notification bell as well. It's free. You might as well. Yeah, it's a good thing. It's not like I'm going to send you spam or anything. I like spam. Well, we'll talk about Monty Python another day. Thanks again for watching today. I hope that the rest of your day is harmonious. See you soon.